Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight with Tuesday Talk Live. And I am Vera Sadler, and I am here with my great guests from Chosen Home Groups with Kelsie and Zach Shelton. Zach just hopped off the screen, but he's coming right back. He is here, and I am so excited to have these two guests here with us tonight. And I hope that you are here live with us and that you will be putting your chat and your conversations into the chat in on Facebook so that I can see them because we want to be able to just hit up and talk to these young people and find out a lot of great conversation and just ask them questions about real estate. I've known Zach and Kelsie now for about 6 years. I think the twins, I'm not sure how old the twins are now, but I've watched their twins grow up. They have twins and an older son, but great young people. But I really wanted to have a conversation with Zach and Kelsie tonight because I've watched them do great things and start this real estate business. And Zach, you're just such a people person. Kelsie, I know you are too. You're a people person to me, but this business is like booming and taking off. And I really wanted to have a conversation with you tonight about Chosen Home Groups and let other people get to know who you are even more. So I know a lot of people know from all the posts, but I wanted them to see what I see in you and really get to talk to you about Chosen Home Groups. So just take a moment. I know you're just hopping off. Thank you for joining because I know you had another class. You guys were doing another training and even talk about that, like what's going on with Chosen Home Groups. But before you hop in to Chosen Home, tell us a little bit about you two.
Well, I was a teacher for 11 years and just started, joined Zach. He's been in it a few years now, full time. And so it's really new for me, but it's been exciting.
Well, we're really just servants, and we wanted to pursue something that had every bit of a servant's heart. And I feel like real estate is one of the most purely servant driven next to being a doctor. I mean, doctor number one is one of the top servant positions I think you could really do. And then real estate is in the top five. And I just want to serve and serve others. And I didn't come to get served. I came to serve just to follow the kingdom that we want to serve. And we're very vocal about it. We're very vocal about Christ, and we're very vocal about following him. And he's the root. God's every reason why we have everything that we have. And I'm not shy about that. It's all over our platforms. I was told from the get-go, don't talk about politics and God. I talk about God all day, not politics.
Well, so you jumped right. You jumped a little bit ahead about one of my questions, which was the name Chosen Home Groups. Why you chose that name, Chosen Home Groups? So if you would tell me a little bit about that. And look, we got one of the gentlemen that I follow who is all the way from Africa is watching. So hopefully we'll get some good comments. But what I would love to find out is you said something about the Lord and you want to be a servant. So tell me a little bit more. Is that why you chose the name? Is that how why the name Chosen Home?
Well, yeah,
I'd like to hear from both of you too, your perspective on it.
Would represent everything that we are wrapped in one. And we want to be chosen by you. We want to be selected by you. It's a privilege and a gift a privilege to serve you during a real estate transaction. And it's a big deal to us. And we wanted something that could honor God as well. And I didn't want it to be our name because our names mean nothing to me. That Zach Shelton means nothing to me. And I wanted something that could be its own thing, and anyone that joins us, it's their name with Chosen Homes Group. They can make it their entity, and it's all for the kingdom. We were chosen by God and to be blessed to live in this world, and we want to give back.
Yeah, that's awesome. What about you, Kelsie? What does it mean to you?
Well, that's it. Because when we were thinking of a name, it was kind of throwing around different things and what stood out.
Our son wanted Mighty Homes.
Yeah. But what would actually represent why we're doing this, what we're doing it for, and, you know, it was biblically based, so.
So Zach, can you tell those that are watching and listening? So we're streaming this on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and there may be some professionals on LinkedIn that want to know, what did you do before you decided to go into real estate?
Prior to real estate, I had the honor and privilege to work at Southeastern Freight Lines here in Dallas, Texas. They're based out of Columbia, South Carolina, and they were one of the best companies I could ever have worked for, and had the privilege to help iron out and instill some great things in me. I had the privilege of being a leader, manager for the fleet service department, where we had over 300 associates, over a $500 million in equipment, 25 plus locations. And it was a very fast-paced job, and it was a very servanthood job. And I loved every minute of it, but I wanted to be able to pursue the kingdom more and be able to do that through selling homes.
And the reason I asked that, because knowing your history, of course, knowing a little bit about you, I think I can see how your leadership allowed you to step into what you're doing with Keller Williams Real Estate. And can you tell us a little bit about the journey, how you started, and then you guys were actually able to start your own chosen home groups? You started out, Kelsie mentioned a little bit ago about how you started out first,
Mm-hmm.
and then how the Lord actually allowed you guys to say, wait a minute, let's start our own group. And I think that speaks to your ability, how God really put his stamp of approval on what you were doing when you just went full speed ahead, Zach. And then, but your servanthood, your passion about what you're doing, but also your ability to lead, because now you have your own team.
Yes, ma'am. I really felt like it was God calling me to do it, and that he was shutting doors at my other company for me. And there's no other way I could explain it. And you could call me crazy with going into real estate in the time that I did, but I knew where he called me, and I went running, jumping into the water, and I quit a job of eight plus years. That was a very great job, very secure, very safe. I said bye to that. And I went into the unknown, and I went into the scariness, and I went into all of it, diving in head first. And I've loved every minute of it. I don't regret it. And I'm just excited to see where God takes me. And what we've already been able to do in the past year has been phenomenal. But prior to that, I was a dual career agent. I had a full-time job, a family, and then I was trying to start a real estate business on the side. And I couldn't give it the attention and what it needed, and to grow it, to survive. And I don't want to half do anything. And I felt it slipping at my other job, and I didn't feel real estate was taking off like I wanted to. And I'm an all in or all out type of person. I'm very addicted type of personality. And I pursued all in. I went to a great market center. I was already with Keller Williams out in South Lake, but then I came here locally to our market center here in Ellis County. So if any of my peeps from Ellis County are watching, I walked in here one day, fell in love. They made me feel like I was a family member. And I pretty much 2 weeks later went and told a job of over 8 years that I'm leaving. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they had my replacement there on Monday to meet me. So I did not regret leaving one bit.
Kelsie, and what about your journey to decide to leave the school system and say, hey, he's doing it? Because everybody can't work as a partner. And the reason I asked that is because some people have noticed from my first Tuesday talk that I work alongside my husband. It wasn't always by choice. It was sort of kind of by force. My job, I got ripped from my job, but I was helping him on the side, but I do it more on a full-time basis as well. But it's not always easy. And it's not but you made a choice that this is something you guys went in prayer. And I want to say this right out the gate. We both know that we're both couples of faith. And so I love how you guys are so open about your faith, and you're not being shy about it. And you can openly speak about it and say, look, you can stick to your faith and watch God move. because some people think that you cannot be open. Like you said, Zach, that you speak openly about your faith, and you've not missed a beat, have you?
No.
That you've not had to, shy away from saying, God is our source. God is what's doing it. You talk about your men's Bible study on your post. You say, come join us, and how God is really at the root and the source of everything you're doing, and how you pray about it. Kelsie, you have your posts about the Lord all the time, where you see a lot of business owners shy away from their faith to try to generate business because they think you can't have faith in God.
And I mean, I'm sorry, it wouldn't, it's already his. And what did Jesus say to Pilate when he was in prison? You wouldn't have the power unless it was already given to you. And he's talking about his Father. So it ain't ours. The real estate, any of this, it's not ours. It's not your home. It's not my home. You got a temporary key. And
he is the root of all of it. So
I'm not vocal, because when it comes to my judgment day, I don't want him to say, Zach, I gave you a platform and a database, and you never spoke my word or gave me my dues, when it's all God. Every bit is him, and I'm not going to shy away from that.
Amen. And Kelsie, so what made you decide, wow, I think I could do this with him? Knowing your personality, you're not the one that likes to be in the forefront all the time. I know Zach could talk to a horse that's not talking.
I later and forged it on DocuSign.
No, it was a lot of prayer for a long time too. It wasn't an immediate decision, and I was uncertain because it is not necessarily easy to work with someone that you have such a relationship with, and it takes a lot of consideration how things are going to work. You don't want to, take that into the family, the business family, but finding out how it all can mesh and work together. And so it was prayer, and I felt like God was, just as he was opening the doors for real estate for him, that he was for me and for our family and what we're doing now.
Well, and for me, it's all one. It's not even, when I love and is passionate for what I do, it's all one thing. You can call it business, personal, whatever. It's all one. You're emotionally responsive to everything you go through in the first place anyways. For you to say it's not personal, you're lying, because there's no such thing as business ethics. There's only personal ethics, and those change like dramatically. But yeah.
Prayer, lots of prayer.
So can you guys share with us, I want you to share a little bit about what you were doing earlier. Like, you hosted a training just before you hopped on here. So for anybody, we apologize for being just a couple of minutes late. But Kelsie and Zach were hosting a training for individuals, and they're going just full speed ahead, like you said. And then we're going to, before we go ahead
and premiered a Keys to Home Ownership with a mortgage lender friend of ours named Anthony LaForge with Trinity Oaks Mortgage, a great Christian, a great follower of the Lord. And again, Anthony LaForge is a great follower and worker for the kingdom. And we were just here doing our first live home buying seminar, where we polled our followers, and we pulled and got a ton of questions about what first time or what home buyers are asking, what's on their mind, that they could feel they can ask anonymously and just ask their questions and get answered, and know that you're heard, because everyone's got a voice and wants to be heard. And not everyone is an extrovert like myself. And there's a lot of introverts out there that are too scared to even ask questions, or even there's too many people who are scared to start anything. And we want to open the doors with the platforms that we're given, with the gift of videos. That way people can watch this at their own time, at their own leisure, and develop that slow strength to make that decision and set a goal and go after it.
I love that. Everyone has a voice and needs to be heard. Don't be afraid to ask the question. I love that, because some people will, how we used to say, no question, only question that's a dumb question is the one that you don't ask. And so for you to open that opportunity for the individuals who have that in the back of their mind, especially about home ownership, we're in such a scary climate. You know, we have a lot of people that are afraid that say, and I'll throw a question out there that I'm sure a lot of people have for you and you and Kelsie. I'm sure this comes up a lot. Why buy a home now? Interest rates are skyrocketing. He's laughing. You guys are laughing because I'm sure you hear that, and I'm sure it probably came up tonight. Why would I buy a home now? Why would I invest now? You know, but why? How do you answer someone like that?
Well, first, if you're renting, you're paying 100% interest and you're cash flowing someone else. Second, if you even have one single credit card, your interest rate is probably double that of a house rate. If you have a car that's $50,000 or more, you just lost $200,000 in buying power. So the interest rate question really doesn't matter to me, because if you need a home, you're going to buy the home. And if you're worried about the interest rate, you shouldn't be shopping anyways.
Wow.
Stick to shopping on Zillow, or if you want our app, message us and we'll send you our app and you can window shop on there and we'll get you really approved for a home.
If you're renting, you're paying 100% interest. That's a little scary comment. See why we talked to Zach? Because Zach just puts it out there. He just throws it out, and he just makes it very plain.
They're pre-COVID rates. Whenever people want to compare rates to 3%, that was an anomaly. Am I saying it right? An anomaly.
Say the word, Teacher Kelsie.
The statistics tell us that was never supposed to happen. If you got it, good, keep it. What's your reason for moving? Most people just want to bring up interest rates just to trigger a conversation, and they had no desire to move in the first place. Because either you love the home and you can afford it, live life. God wanted you to live prosperously and joyfully. So if you can afford the home, go live in the home. Don't beat yourself up because you can afford it and your sister can't. It's not her. It's not. Don't feel that regret.
That's another excellent, point that you bring up.
Don't
We're
listen.
going to touch on that. We're going to touch on that in a few minutes about the guilt factor. About the guilt factor of home shopping. We're going to touch on that in a minute. But I did want to ask a question. And I kind of told you guys I was going to ask you this. What do you feel like has been your biggest challenge in real estate? Kelsie, you go first, because we know Zach could talk all night.
For us, I think it's just clear communication and understanding the expectations. Has been, finding that, because just it's not always easy, and finding a way where we can do that.
Do you before he answers? Do you try to turn it off when you come home at night, or does it continue? Do you try to set an hour, like, okay, now that we're home, it's kid time, no more real estate, or it doesn't continue?
He's better at that than I am.
Really?
Yes, because when I was thinking about doing this, I read some things, and that's definitely something to do. But for me, if I get a call or a text, I'm more of, I need to get it done. Like, I don't want to forget about it. I need to do it right now. And he's like, no, it can wait. So yeah, that's been a struggle for me, cutting it off. Yeah.
Oh,
what's your biggest challenge?
I don't respond to people's emotions like that. Your emotion and your outside life may be driving you to get an answer from me that I can timely respond to you. So, but for me, the hardest thing, it's building the brand, building that reputation for the whole start in the chosen home. It's you're a small fish in a huge pond, and it's so easy to get discouraged and get down and have poor mental health. But you have to strengthen that mental health and renew each day and feed that spirit and feed your soul, and and go pursue it. But building that brand, building the name and everything has been, it's tough. But the one thing I remind myself, and for any other business owners out there, let this one stick in, is business is 100% unlimited. If you think it's a cap, you're playing the wrong game. There is no competition. business is 100% unlimited. So go after it. There's 160 other realtors out of this office. We're going to outserve all 160 of them at the service level at which we serve. Not saying anything about them, but there's no competition.
You know, when you speak of a thing that we have had to, I would say, minister to a lot or speak to a lot in this day and age, and we call it the spirit of comparison. Because if you don't, if you were to compare yourself to the other 160 all the time, you would never succeed. You have to kind of put yourself in, not saying that you're blinders to the world, but you have to be blind to everything else. And I had a conference this weekend, and one of the things that one of the speakers was telling the ladies there, even that, she said, I don't care if there's 15,000 people selling lashes. If you've been gifted and called to sell lashes, you go sell them, because nobody can be the best at being you. And that's kind of what you're saying.
Right.
Right. There needs to be 15,001, because we get into this rut, as you're saying, Zach, we get into this rut and we think, oh my gosh, everybody's doing it, I can't do it. But if that's your talent, if that's your gift, then sooner or later, if God has called you to it, he's going to open a door. And we have to stick with the grind. I understand, just like you are, I'm building my brand. There's thousands of coaches out there, but I feel like my talent and my gift is above and beyond other coaches. I mean, I feel like I have a gift, and I'm not going to shut down either. So I appreciate just what you're saying.
All of our gifts. Yes. So he called us, whatever your gift is. If it's enthusiasm, if it's encouragement, be an encourager. If it's a preacher, preach. If it's a teacher, teach. If it's a giver, give. If it's a lover, love. If it's a doctor, heal people. Use your gift. Everybody, if you're listening to this, the primary message is you have a gift. Go use it. Don't be one of the parable where you buried the talent and came back and you did nothing with it.
Exactly.
I want to bring back tenfold for the Lord.
Yes. So we talked about some of the biggest challenges, and Kelsie's going to work on her shutting down at night. And Zach, you're doing awesome at building your brand. I don't think there's a person that can click on Facebook or anywhere and not see some of they're interesting, but I think you're doing an amazing job. I mean, you're out there, your name is getting out there, and I love it. So tell me, what are some of the greatest joys you have had in this past year and a half, 2 years?
Ooh, mine was Sunday night was one of the greatest joys I've had in a while. Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, we're not.
Oh yeah, no.
Zach, don't make me come next door.
And it was.
Stop it.
40-0.
We're talking about with the real estate. We're not talking about.
Oh no, Cowboys are like it. No, because I want to help a Cowboys player one day. So no, I'll let it slip out.
So I guess we need to give a disclaimer to everybody listening, Kelsie, so they'll know that, of course, Zach is an avid Cowboy fan.
Oh, avid.
And I am a Giants fan since I'm from New York. So we are still here, listening to Zach pound on the Giants. So
the question you asked, what is the year and a half, and I can't help it if that moment
outside of the football game, Mr. Shelton, what was one of your greatest joys while you've been serving individuals in real estate?
Watching people's faces when they get the home.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a little kid for that.
Being able to experience that joy with them.
Mm-hmm. Watching the dream home, watching the reality come to effect in their eyes and in their head is the greatest joy.
Yeah. And I will say too, like being able to do it together as a family and help other families. That's awesome. Even the kids are, they're even part of it.
They ask to buy every single house that I go to.
Yeah.
How does it feel, Kelsie, when you're prepping a home for showing?
Well, it's just going through the steps, I think, preparing everything, and he's kind of
So what is going through your mind when you're thinking about that home that you're trying to either sell or we'll talk about what's going through your mind when you're trying to get this family, you know, prepped for or hyped for buying. But when you're going, when a client says, "Hey, I want to sell my home," and you're trying to get them, and you know you're doing the open house. I saw one open house picture, and you had it up set up so pretty and inviting. What is your thoughts when you're trying to help a client prep for selling a home?
Stager. Call me crazy. Staging matters. And when it comes to when you're going to sell your house, your interior decorating doesn't mean anything anymore. And you need to be open to the fact that your house is not someone else has to envision living there. And not everyone likes the same color schemes. Not everyone likes the same things. And you got to be open and transparent to be able to tell that seller that, hey, we have to stage. It may be too much stuff in here that you've collected over the years, and we got to thin it out. We got to put some of this stuff in the garage, and those are some of the hardest things sellers have to hear.
Like you said, depersonalize.
And you got to depersonalize the home, because a lot of people think that no, my home is better than Home and Gardens. Version of gutters and homes.
But then when you're
joking.
you're on the flip side of that for the buying side, you put yourself in that buyer's shoes. And when you're looking through homes, that's kind of exciting. Like I found one yesterday that was kind of outside of the area the person was looking for, but it had the land, it had the property, which they needed for a side business. And so it was, it's exciting. You put yourself in their shoes and you get to look and kind of.
And every home is different.
Yeah. Seeing the possibilities of everything, being open-minded with it. Yeah.
So what else would you guys, this went faster than I really wanted it to. Because I know my friend over here can talk to me for days and hours. But what else? Oh, I did have a question. How does this business differ from, no, I talked about what was different from what you're doing before, but I know that part of this was you want to serve and it's to build the kingdom. But my question is, how do you feel like how does it benefit your family as well? Because you're not just blessing people, serving people, but this has to do something for your family as well, because we want to make sure that, okay, God, this aligns with what you're telling us to do to serve, but how are we serving? Kelsie, as a mother, as a wife, I know you made this significant step also looking at that picture as well. So how do you guys see that this is really a big step that's serving your family? Because maybe might be some wives on the line that's looking and saying, what can I do to really serve?
Well, I think the flexibility in it, not that you're not working or working more days at times, but you have more flexibility in it. And with that, we've been able to do things out of the norm of our 9-to-5 schedule that we had, or the typical school day. So now, Zach's been able to do a Bible study weekly. So it's brought in new possibilities for us, new relationships. We're just closer as a family together. And now that I'm not teaching, I am, but I'm teaching our children. So I'm doing homeschool. So that's allowed for that too. And it's all to bring us closer to him and to each other ultimately as well.
Well, time is our greatest gift, our greatest asset, and I don't want to waste it. And I'd rather show my children that you can pursue and achieve anything that you are passionate about and have a desire to do it at a high level. You can go do it. I'm not supposed to be where I'm at based on statistics. I'm not supposed to be here, and I'm living proof of it every day. And I want to be a cherisher of my time and be very selective of my time with who I spend it with. And that's one of my biggest things with pursuing the real estate and the new career is I'm very selective who I spend time with, because it really matters who you're around and who's pouring into you. And I'm very selective.
So that leads back to the statement you made before and a comment you just made.
But
You, by statistics, you're not supposed by statistics because if we allow what life has originally dished out to us and we let that hamper us or hold us back, a lot of people would say, "Hey, how'd you get there?" Um, can do you mind sharing a little bit, Zach, when you're saying by statistics, people would not see you to be where you are? And then you made a statement earlier about not letting what people think or family or individuals think what you're achieving. Because sometimes people say, "Oh, look at that house you have," and they think you think you're all that. But if God gives you the ability to get something, go for it. But some people don't because they're worried about what other people think. And I know we've had conversations about this before about how others perceive and sometimes people let that hinder them. Could you speak to what you're saying about by statistics, people would think you wouldn't have achieved what you have, you and Kelsie?
well, yeah, I mean, for the most part, people they wouldn't expect as much of a rough background to have as what I do have, because for one, I won't let you see it and show it with the way I carry myself. But I'm not supposed to be where I'm at. And I love to defy the odds of to be that child of that environment that is proof that you can be the one in your family to make the changes and the difference. You can be the one that doesn't repeat and reoccur things in a family line. You can be the one to finally be a father in the picture, to be a mother in the picture, to be a brother, be a sister, be a friend. There's just so much to it. And what was the other question?
How do you said earlier, don't allow what other people think.
Oh yeah, too many times people you will let other people stop you from doing or achieving anything, or and especially your closest family members. If you're doing it in the right reasons, and don't let their jealousy, their comparison, stop you from doing what God put you to do. Now, if you're doing it out of a vain, malicious, then that's a whole different story. But if God is putting in your heart for your family to grow and get a bigger home, if your brother or your sibling or whoever is pulling you down, that says a whole lot. But
Mhm.
man, I can't, I'm so proud. I'm so excited that you're capable of doing that.
Mhm.
Why'd he get that? Why he don't deserve that? Well, first off, you're not going to be at Thanksgiving this year then. Nice. But too many people let other people worry about it, and I'm around it daily, especially in the real estate, because I'm all over social media. I'm doing videos, and the one thing I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound. Well, I hate to break it to you. You look the same way in person that you do on camera, and you sound the same way you do in person that you do on camera. So I still don't understand why you're not filming.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. If Nike wouldn't have got Michael Jordan, you wouldn't have that saying. Just do it. I mean, that right there, and what they did alone and during that time period was someone who went after something and defied all odds. And then there was also another individual on the other side that knew their worth and knew their value.
Kelsie, any comments that you feel like if you had one or two like things that you really think that we need to know, what would it be?
Make sure she didn't realize she married down and I married up.
I would say have someone very supportive and positive in your life, someone, because for me, I'm the worrier, but he helps me.
Mhm.
He helps me see things differently. So without him, I would still be teaching for sure. So you need that positivity in your life.
You do. You got to have someone that's willing to breathe the life into you and see past what other people see or may think. And it's okay to make mistakes. I haven't always been, this whatever person, and I still make mistakes today. I'm very profound about my relationship with God, but it doesn't mean I don't make mistakes and don't get mad or don't get upset or don't let someone else's success initially intimidate you, but then remember to stay right back in your lane. And that's their race, not mine. I'm going to enjoy my journey, and I don't even want to know the destination. I don't care. God's going to change it. I'm along for the ride.
So if an individual is looking to grow, sell a home, because I don't want to get off this line tonight without really letting individuals know how they can be blessed. Lots of times we'll go all over the place and we will work with individuals who are not faith minded. I believe that the faith community needs to work with faith community individuals, and I know you too. That's why I asked you two to come on, because I wanted individuals that I know their spirit, I know their caliber, and I wanted you guys come on. I was pressing them guys all night, like, hurry up, get off your call, because I wanted you guys to be on here. But Zach and Kelsie are two dear hearts. Zach will, let me tell you, I always tease him about talking, but Zach will definitely talk to you and get to the heart of the matter. And I have watched your business. I have watched God really grow and bless this business. And I am so proud of what he's doing with Zach and Kelsie with Chosen Home Groups. And I just pray immense blessings on everything that he's doing and opening up from you for not just Ellis County, Dallas, wherever he's taking you all over the state of Texas. But if someone wants to get a home, buy a home, sell a home, work with Chosen Home Groups, please tell us, how do they reach you? I'm going to put your phone number and your information in the chat so that they can get it. So if you give it to me right now, can you tell us how they reach you, Zach?
You can call us or text us 469-600-3993.
Oh, you got to say it a little slower. 469
600 3993. Text or call. That's my personal cell phone number. And don't be afraid to call or text message. And I'm used to being left on red. So if you got an iPhone, you may want to change that. If I reply back and you leave me on red, I'm used to it. But message us on there, or Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Chosen Homes Group is the handle. Message us, watch us on there. We have educational content, we got funny content, we got homes, we got everything on there, and we're ever evolving to serve you and grow. And we just want you to reach out to us. Our timeline's your timeline. A lot of people feel like we're salesy or sales. I ain't got nothing to sell. I don't own the home. I mean, I don't have that capability just yet to own the home to sell it to you, but it's your timeline. When are you moving? When is your lease up? Well, we're only trying to put together the great plan to get you into the home, and we only know based off experience. We may have to push you a little bit because it is, again, an emotion. It's an emotional response. It's so emotional when buying a residential home.
Well, folks, I don't see any questions in the chat. I'm going to wait a few minutes. I'm putting your information up on here so that people can see that this conversation we've had tonight with Kelsie and Zach Shelton of Chosen Home Groups, Keller William Realty, just talking about their transition into going into real estate full time. And I know that they, have been having a very blessed business. If you are interested into buying a home, and Zach, I'm so glad that you made those points about the interest rate, about, don't even worry about that, because I did my research on that as well, that those rates were just all like fluff and that wasn't realistic. And if people looked about 20 years ago, the rates were 9, 10, 11%, that was the standard rate. So people, don't be afraid that if you're going to invest in yourself, invest long-term, get a home, and go with people that really have a heart to serve you. Go with Chosen Home Groups. Come on, reach out to Kelsie and Zach Shelton. Their the name of their group is there. You can even, Zach has a Facebook page. Kelsie has a Facebook page. You can reach them on Facebook, Chosen Home Groups, their personal page or LinkedIn page. And again, I'm going to put the phone number here again so that you can see that. Text them, but don't miss out on working with individuals that are there to serve you and looking out for your best. Don't just go get some shyster that's going to show you just anything.
Well,
Get someone that's there for you.
Support small businesses, because small businesses are the 100% backbone of America.
That's good.
It's small businesses. We're not big. We're not Walmart. We're not Exxon. We're small local business. We have to support each other. We have to love each other. And this is our community. My kids go here. We go to the parks. I shop here. Why wouldn't I want to serve you here?
That's excellent. That's excellent. Anything else, Kelsie?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for coming on and just sharing with us. And look, I'll see you guys later or this week, but haven't seen much of you because we've all been so busy, but I just appreciate you. And hopefully in November, we'll redeem ourselves, Zach.
That's right.
No.
That's what Anthony said too. Hopefully the Giants will do something better because you know how your friend is over here.
Better than how the Jets are feeling right now.
Yeah. But thank you again, guys. I appreciate you so much. And I just pray many blessings on Chosen Home Groups. I know it's going to succeed and do well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Have a great night, guys.
Stay classy.